Welcome to Africa Media Australia. My name is Clyde Salum Mushwari. Tonight I have with me Kate Hill, and I'm just going to ask her to introduce herself. Kate, how are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you, Clyde.
Tell us a bit more about yourself.
My name's Kate. I grew up in Melbourne. I was born in Melbourne. I'm a trained teacher.
How long have you been teaching for?
A couple of years, but I've done a lot of other different things over the years. But some of my key interests are languages and people, and kind of communication and different forms of communication.
All right, and I understand you're learning quite a few foreign languages. Tell us about it.
I'm trying.
Which ones are they?
So I speak Indonesian and Malay, which are quite similar, in English. I'm also trying to learn Dinka, Monjang, one of the languages of South Sudan, and a bit of Kiswahili, a bit of French, as much as I can, especially because I have a lot of friends from different places.
That's good.
So I like to share it with my mates.
All right, yeah. We're going to try a bit of an exercise. We're going to try to say hi in every one of those languages
my goodness.
You've learned. Oh, we'll start with Swahili. How do you say hi?
Jambo.
All right, in Indonesia.
Apa kabar?
All right, next one is Arabic.
Marhaban.
Dinka.
Ikade.
Which one again? It's like 6 or 7. I can't remember.
Ni hao. Salut.
All right. Well, français. Salut, ça va?
Oui, ça va.
Well, that's the beauty of multiculturalism, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
You get to learn.
And we're laughing now, so.
Yes. Just that getting us into the language, it makes us feel so good. What's your view on how multiculturalism is working in Australia?
Oh, that's a big question. I think, the context changes from state to state and from suburb to suburb. I mean, we're sitting here tonight in Footscray Studios, which is very different to other parts of Melbourne. For example, where I grew up in the northeast, which is very homogenous area. So I really think that you can't talk about the Australian context because it's so different in different places.
But still, I guess there's a sense that multiculturalism in Australia compared to many other countries, like in Europe or North America, is working quite well. That's the sort of general sense. To kind of agree on that?
Look, Clyde, I think unfortunately I was born maybe a pessimist, which I hate to say, but I think that because I work closely with various communities and I do hear a lot about people's struggles and that kind of thing, I feel like, we are doing a good job. There is a lot happening, but there's a very, very long way to go. I mean, I think it's wonderful, and I know that a lot of the people that work in the industry work with whole groups of different people, think it's great, but it's not the case for everyone, and I still think there's huge issues.
We have built AMA as a platform for everyone.
We want you to run your own segment about your own area of interest on AMA. If you have a business, a talent, or an idea, AMA is ready to work with you.
This year, let us make AMA the biggest and the most influential media platform for Africans and for friends of Africans. So if you can, invite us to your community events.
We have built a platform for you and we want you to use it. You can run your own segments in any area of your interest as long as it brings value to the African Australians here in Australia.
Do you have ideas and talents you want everyone to see? African Media Australia is here for you. We're happy to promote those videos of yours. We're happy to promote your businesses. We're happy to promote those ideas that are inside of you.
AMA is for you.
Please contact us, African Media Australia. AMA is here for you and we're here to stay. Thank you. Bye.
In your own personal experience, what are some of the issues you can point to which does not give you so much encouragement, so to speak, on where things should be?
Well, a lot of it, I think, as we would say in the industry, is like systemic. So there's a lot of racism still, and that word is quite sensitive. But there's a lot that goes on in terms of barriers to employment and barriers to education, and just misunderstandings about lots of different things. So there's a whole range of things that are inequitable in general for a range of reasons, not just in terms of the multicultural sector, but and like you said, things are getting better, but there's still a long way. Yeah.
And having, you just mentioned the things like employment or unemployment, for instance. I think it is actually known that unemployment within African communities is quite high, both unemployment and underemployment. And if you have a look at what are the reasons of that, I mean, there are many reasons, of course, but one of them is that many employers out there are not giving jobs to Africans because they either fear something about Africans or they're not used to them. Is that what you feel as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I'm only one person, but I know that is happening. There has been some research done, and I'm sure, Clyde, you probably are aware of it, but there is a man in Melbourne, an Australian man called Omar Farah, who has published quite widely on African men, specifically in the Carlton area of Melbourne. And he's looked at different studies around access to employment or barriers to employment. So he's done various studies, and from those studies, it is quite obvious that there are still major barriers and major discrimination. Even things such as when a test was done that applicants changed their names to Anglophone names, they got callbacks for jobs. And then, so yeah, there's the stats that prove that there's still
quite a lot of issues.
Yeah.
All right. You said earlier that obviously there were some areas in multiculturalism that are working, other areas is not working. What are some of the things do you think should happen in order to make the multiculturalism experience much better in Australia? It may be a too technical question.
I think it's good that you're asking a broad question because it's kind of provocative. But I also think that sometimes I have a problem personally with labels. So even for me, like multiculturalism, I feel a bit awkward about that word. I don't like using the word refugee because, when does a refugee stop being a refugee? Like at what point are you just a citizen and, you stop being referred to as, or, people stop referring to the trauma of your past, or there's a lot of issues, I think, with some of the stereotyping, and I know that sometimes it's easier.
What can we do to encourage people? Because I guess there are two areas. There's the policy area from the government, and then there's a sort of what I call people area, just the interaction between people in the neighborhoods and stuff. What do you think should be done to really encourage people from the everyday life to embrace others? What do you think should be done? Is it more just a matter of educating these people, or creating more opportunities to mingle, or what are some of the things that passes through your mind?
Get down to the really simple stuff. Forget the policy and all of that. I think one of the things that people do in their life is take risks, and that might be traveling, or going on a first date, or there's a whole range of things that people do when they take risks. Talk to someone that you might not otherwise talk to, or when you're sitting on the train, like smile at someone. It's just it's just feeling comfortable enough around people to know that they probably have an interesting story to share with you. And you know, that's what I do, and I have made some of the most amazing friends, you know, sitting on trains or at Indonesian festivals or at, you know, South Sudanese weddings, or, you know, in lots of different contexts.
Yes.
Where all I've done is say hello.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Start a chat.
yeah, just said hi, and I always get something out of it.
What would be your last message, sort of both to the Africans as well as to Australians, in terms of trying to improve the relationship in these two groups of population?
I think, you know, I think it's wonderful that we have such a mix of people, and obviously I'm very involved with the African community. I think no matter what the relationship, if it's community to community or country to country or individual to individual, the important thing is that you both try to come halfway. So, you know, like, I'll probably try and learn a bit of your language and learn a bit about you, and, you know, it'd be nice if you tried to learn a little bit about me and my systems and that kind of thing. And yeah, just to treat everyone as a potential friend, because, you know, you never know when you're going to be pleasantly surprised, and step out of your comfort zone. It's actually quite exciting.
All right, Kate, we really want to thank you for your time to Africa Media Australia. We appreciate this conversation. In fact, I would have wanted to make it even longer, but unfortunately we're running out of time. Would want maybe to see you again sometime, visit us again for another chat on
Sure.
Africa Media Australia.
Thanks, Clyde. Thanks.